and welcome to The Extra Mile. I'm Linda Boudreaux. Our guests today are Dennis Ward, who is a novelist and playwright, and Ted Richard, who is the producer of a play that Dennis has written, and we're going to find out about all of that today. So, gentlemen, thank you for being here. Welcome. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Linda.
I am really excited about this. Let me just tell you, this is like really, really wonderful. So, Dennis, I'm going to start with you as a novelist and playwright, and tell us what it is that you have written and what a treat is in store for us.
The subject of my play and my book is a French woman who lived here in the Acadiana region. Her name was Gisele Gigi Carrington. I had the pleasure of knowing her the last 7 years of her life. I actually met her in 2001. I was an artist at the time, and I was hanging an art show at a French restaurant in Boudreaux. And this little woman, petite, animated, vivacious woman, came in the restaurant. She had a habit of going there for bouillabaisse. And we quickly struck up a conversation. She loved my art. She loved art in general. She had been an artist herself all her life. And she was well-traveled and interesting, and we became friends. And
like real friends?
Real friends, deep friends. I was just starting to learn French at the time, and she was from Paris. And she married a Cajun soldier in Paris after the war and moved to Opelousas, Louisiana in 1946, so she lived here 62 years before she died. And in 2008, she was diagnosed with cancer, and a mutual friend suggested that I write her story in the form of a play. So I interviewed Gisele, and she came well prepared, and she told me a lot about the years she owned the first gay cabaret nightclub called Chez Gisele. It was started in 1968. And she started in a little bar on Jefferson Street, which she quickly outgrew. And she moved to a 500-person nightclub on the Abbeville Highway across from what is now the Mall of Acadiana.
I'm loving this.
Well, it was all types of cabaret acts. She had, of course, drag queens. She had Zydeco. Clifton Chenier played there. A teenage Michael Doucet played his first gig with his band Beau Soleil there.
Wow.
Yeah. She had celebrity visitors who would come in and perform in Lafayette, and then they would end up at her nightclub. And so Sonny and Cher were there, the Everly Brothers.
My gosh.
Yeah, quite a few famous people passed through there. And the bar just was packed every night. And she welcomed everybody, gay, straight, black, white, Mexican, everybody was welcome. It was a very nice, homogenous mix of people, and everybody got along and had a great time. So I heard all the wonderful stories, and I entered my play in the Hubs Theater's festival, and it was accepted. Unfortunately, the cast fell apart, and I was unable to perform the play at the theater festival, and Gigi was getting very sick. And so I actually took the play to her, to Lafayette General. We had a staged reading in her room on the cancer ward of Lafayette General.
Oh my goodness.
Attended by family, friends, nurses, and even some doctors came. And she was absolutely thrilled. She was so, it was just like a drill pumping through her body. She said, as soon as I get well, I'm going to get out of here, and we're going to produce this play, and it's going to happen. Well, unfortunately, 2 weeks later, she passed. And the manuscript languished in a drawer for 2 years until one day Christy Lecty came to me.
She's at Cite des Arts.
She's program director at Cite des Arts, and she said, I'd like to read that play. And so we workshopped it, I rewrote it. It then premiered in May, June 2010, and it sold out 9 performances. It went on to an encore performance in 2011 at Cite, and I entered it in the Tennessee Williams Saints and Sinners Theater Festival in New Orleans, and out of 500 entries, it won as a finalist.
Wow.
And then this past year, Ted Richard came to me and said,
Interstage left, Ted.
Interstage left, here I go.
We're going to have this inaugural Gay Pride, Acadiana Pride Festival, and we want your play to open the festival. And I was very humbled and shocked, and I thought it was a wonderful idea. And
I remember the first conversation because when I called you, I said, hi, Dennis. Is this Dennis Ward? You don't know me, but my name is Ted Richard, and I want to produce your play. And the phone was silent for a couple of seconds.
It's like,
I'm like, no, I'm really serious.
so Ted,
So it turned out to be really nice.
Why did you want to produce this play?
From the beginning, when I became involved with the Acadiana Pride Festival.
That's what you're going to do. That's what's happening.
That's absolutely what's happening, yes. And Chez, Gisele, the play that I'm producing, that Dennis wrote so well, I can't thank him enough for that. He's so talented. The play that we're producing, Chez, Gisele, is actually the premiere, is the grand opening of the festival itself, which is going to be on Thursday, March the 27th, 2014.
Like the real first thing, the real kickoff.
Exactly.
What an honor, huh?
The kickoff to the festival is Chez, Gisele.
that is an honor, and I appreciate the tremendous work they're doing to promote my play and my book. This past year, well, to digress, I learned a lot of stories beyond the years of Gisele owning her gay bar. And there was a period in her life as a young teenager that was during the war, where she was a French Jew in Paris, and she had to they had to go in hiding. They escaped Paris and went to live in Lyon, France, and lived in a tiny, tiny garden shed for 4 years.
Wow, wow.
And it was no wider than what you could stretch your hands out. And
Sounds like an Anne Frank story.
yeah. And during this time, her father was trying to get the grandfather who had stayed in Paris over the line of demarcation. He paid bribes to the Germans, and it didn't work out, and they almost all lost their lives. So it's quite a dramatic story. I was shocked to learn all these details after Gisele had actually passed. And what I thought was going to be just maybe a couple chapters in one book of Gisele's life turned out to be an entire book called Mademoiselle Gigi. And it's just a glorious journey to get to know that part of her life.
You know, when you think about it, to survive all of that, and then to end up in Lafayette, Louisiana,
Right.
and open the first gay bar in the 60s, and to have a spirit that is absolutely indomitable, is in itself heroic. Would you agree?
It's an
like,
epic
wow.
story.
Yes.
It truly is an epic story. And it's actually being called to the attention of some folks on the West Coast, because after this production, the play is going to move to San Francisco and be produced,
so exciting.
produced
So exciting.
on the professional stage out there. And who knows where this will all end
Yes.
up. It just seems to be an amazing journey. And
I think that first day at that restaurant in Breaux Bridge Was the beginning of something transformative for you as well as for her? As I'm
It
sitting here
has
thinking, you know.
Well, one of the things that he talks about in the book is about her childhood, and through the play, once you read the book, you understand the play a lot more, because once you read the book, you understand where this woman got the compassion to do all of the things that she did once she got into Lafayette. Because here is a woman who was living in France and being told that she didn't belong there, that she wasn't the right kind of people. And when she gets to Lafayette, she ends up helping those people who were also being told that they weren't the right kind of people. And I think that's an amazing story. And that's what the book and the play get across so well. And,
Thank you, Ted.
And Dennis didn't tell y'all this, but he actually rewrote parts of the play to include why Gisele was the way she was. He included parts of her young childhood into the play, and she relives some of that through the play while she's talking with the bartenders and some of the patrons. And through the story of the book and the play, you understand why she became the woman that she did and how that happened.
So how did she decide to open the first gay bar in Lafayette? Did she tell you that?
Yes, I'm writing the sequel to this book.
Okay.
It starts in New York Harbor in 1946. And, well, I'll just divulge a little bit.
This is a tad. This is just a little teaser for all of us.
She actually didn't intend to open a gay bar. She opened this little bar, and, well, she thought it was going to be something for downtown executive types and that type of thing. And, well, 3 little skinny gay boys teetered in there one night, all shy and timid, and she was telling them, don't let the door hit you in the butt. And so Gisele was like a magnet to people, and they loved her. And she loved to tell jokes and stories and entertain. Her family actually, her grandfather was at the Folies Bergère in Paris. He was a comedian and a magician. And she grew up with that. So all her life she was entertaining. Even a young child, she learned this on the cuff from her family. So naturally, she drew more double, triple gay people week after week, and pretty soon the bar was so full. The fire marshal came and said, you got to get some of these people out of here or you're going to be closed down. And she really needed a bigger bar because she was trying to do shows without a stage. And it was
because she had that whole cabaret thing going on too.
So, yeah, the gay community supported her. She appreciated that. And when she moved to the larger bar, immediately the bar was attacked by hoodlums. They came in and broke windows and broke the door down. And she had hired a young man who was like an ex-football player at Abbeville High School. And he actually protected the customers. And she then, had to be careful. She had to devise a system of pink membership cards to protect who was coming in for the safety of her gay clientele. Because in those years, if somebody came in and saw you and you were outed, you might lose your family, your job, everything.
And this is part of what you want people to know,
Exactly.
to
That's
remember.
exactly what we want people to know. In addition to the hoodlums and shenanigans that went on that tried to actually destroy the bar, what a lot of people don't know is that there was actually a murder that happened there in the parking lot in 1973 that was actually never solved. Was it 73 or 71?
It's a cold case today.
Yeah. And it's still a cold case, so there was actually a murder that happened there that was never solved. And part of that is because of the discrimination that gay people felt back then in the 60s and 70s, that it wasn't that big of a deal because it was just another gay person that was dead.
Oh,
And
I'm
so,
sitting here with my mouth open.
Unfortunately, that's kind of the way it was. And you know, thank God things have changed a lot since then. But I think it's, once again, I think it's so important that the younger generation and those children, I call them children, excuse me.
Just shows where we are.
Young men and women who are coming out of the closet now, that they need to understand this is the way it used to be and this is what used to happen. And it was okay. The general consensus was that that was okay. And now we know that it's not.
And that's, I guess, another reason why I think that the Pride Festival is so important. Because, you know, if you're not careful, things can always go back to the old way, to the way that they were. And so I think information, pride, self-esteem, those kinds of things really help keeping this movement going forward. Is that?
Absolutely. You know, you called it a movement, and I really don't call it a movement, because when you start saying movement and agenda, people seem to turn
political.
Right, it sounds really political. What we want to do is we want to encourage families. One of the things that we realized, especially living down here in Lafayette, Louisiana, is that a lot of things and a lot of festivals revolve around music. So what we thought we could do is, in addition to having Chez Gisele opening as the play on the Thursday, is on Friday and Saturday we actually have 2 full days of music with Brendan Morrow and Cajun Grass, Gino Delafosse, Steve Grand, Nakia from The Voice, Michigan Avenue, Five Finger Discount, Dustin Dale Gaspard. We have 2 days full of music, and we said, you know, we know that families are so diverse, especially here in Lafayette and here in the South. And I think people in general need to see that, and they need to see and understand that people come in all shapes and sizes, and families come in all shapes and sizes too. And we knew that if we did one thing right, that we knew that the music would be the one thing that would be able to bring the people together, and that's why we decided to do it that way.
Okay.
That's great.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, too.
I think so,
You know?
I think so.
Is this the first one to do?
This is the very
year?
first one. This is our inaugural year.
So was this like, is there a committee that came up with this idea, Ted, or was it kind of like your brainchild? Or?
It was not my brainchild at all. Actually, there was a group of really incredible citizens that came together probably about a year and a half ago, and decided that they wanted to put on a festival. And this is one of those things that, you know, for many years, people said, well, somebody needs to put on a festival. And somebody else said, yeah, somebody should put on a festival. And nobody ever did it. And for many years, there were rumblings that a festival was coming, but nothing would ever come to fruition. And so I was actually invited to attend a meeting by Louis Tolliver Jr., who is the president of Acadiana Pride Festival. And when he invited me to go to that meeting, I went to one meeting, and by the next meeting, I was vice president. But it worked out really well. Louis and I had known each other from before, from where he used to work. So we had a great working relationship before that, and it just turned into something that we never expected. We knew that it would be a lot of work, but we have a lot of fantastic people behind us and supporting us. And one of the things that actually surprised us a lot is that we found that we're getting just as much support from the straight community as we are from the gay community. And that was totally unexpected. So we're enjoying ourselves. I know people are asking, well, how many people do you expect to come? And I said, well, maybe 500 and maybe 5,000. We don't know, but now it's looking like it might be about 5,000.
So you know what? Maybe we're
taking on a life of its own.
We maybe are one community finally. Do you think?
Yes, I think so. I see it happening. I see it happening more quickly than not. One of the things that Lafayette back in the 80s used to have 7 gay bars. A lot of people didn't realize that the Lafayette actually had 7 gay bars at one point, and now we have 1. And people are talking about, well, there are a lot of gay people, and the gay people don't go out. Well, if they don't go out to the bars, well, what do they do? And my answer to them is this, is that being gay has become so accepted that gay people no longer have to go to the gay bar. We're accepted in a lot of other places too. So with that being said, you don't have to go to a bar that's specifically for gay people anymore. You can still be yourself and be in any type of environment, in any type of bar. So I'd like to see us come to a place where at one point we don't need to separate gay bars from straight bars, or you know, during the olden days when you had the African American bars separate from the white bars and all that. And I just see a time coming really, really soon where everybody's just going to get to mingle with each other, and it's not going to matter.
Which is exactly what Gigi wanted to have happen, and that's what she did in her bar, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you could be just any old body and go on in there.
Exactly.
So maybe it's coming back around.
We hope so. We hope so. We really hope so. We need more people like Gisele in our lives, I'll tell you that.
Well, I think we have some.
That would make me so happy to see that legacy of Gisele live on. She certainly, I think, had a vision of all people of all types, of all races, creeds, and colors, and persuasions, just being happy and enjoying each other. And it's quite remarkable because this is in a time, 1968,
Right.
where this is before Stonewall, which is the major marker in gay history. So this was all going on in Little Lafayette, Louisiana.
Right. You know, and that's one of the things I'm glad Dennis brought up Stonewall, is that when you're looking through gay history, everybody talks about Stonewall riots and they talk about Harvey Milk, you know, and they talk about other things that have happened. And one of the things that we as Acadiana Pride Festival wanted to bring to the forefront is that we have stories that happened here that a lot of people don't know about. Like Dennis said, here in Lafayette, Louisiana, we have our own stories that we need to let people know about. And regarding Chez Gisele, the thing about her is I've learned so much about Chez Gisele through Dennis, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But Dennis talks about leaving a legacy, and I think the thing about Gisele is that everything she did was not to leave a legacy. She just was who she was, and that turned out to be the legacy and icon that she became.
I think that's wonderfully put. That's wonderfully put. In the last minute that we have, I do want to let people know, though, if they want to see the play,
Yes.
it will be when and where?
At Cite des Arts. It's running weekends from March the 27th for the next 3 weekends. So it's March 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Don't quote me on the dates.
Okay, but someone
But
check
but
with
it's
Cite.
from March
Check with-
27th, and then it's the next following 3 weekends.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There would be Sunday matinees all 3 weeks.
So there'll be plenty of viewings or opportunities
Absolutely,
to see it.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Christy Lake Tea at Cite des Arts is also taking advanced tickets.
Okay.
So if you want to call and make reservations, just call Cite des Arts and they can do that for you. She said she'll be more than happy. Tickets actually won't go on sale until
March 11th.
March
Okay,
11th. But if
okay.
you want to know something before then, just give Christy a call, or you can call me directly. I think my number is coming up on the screen pretty soon. Call me directly. I'll be happy to answer any questions about Chez Gisele, about the festival, about whatever else you think you want to know.
Okay.
So I'll try to help you out.
Don't miss it. Thank you
Thank you.
both for being here. I really do appreciate it. Love the story. Can't wait to read the book.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for watching The Extra Mile.